What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Kind of Punch Boxing News. I want to talk to you guys. I just want to elaborate on something, clear things up, kind of go more in depth on something that I discussed, about Keith Thurman and his remarks regarding Terrence Crawford. Keith Thurman stated that Terrence Crawford's barely a champion, and he's number one. Of course, he's number two. I did a video about this a few days ago, and I want to talk to you about this and really just clarify some things. Okay, first of all, Keith Thurman has been out of the ring for a very long time, and a lot of guys wanted what he had, and what is funny to say, what he has now isn't too much. Yeah, he has wins. That's all he has. He's lost the WBC belt, which Sean Porter and Danny Garcia duked it out for, in a very high anticipated fight. A very good fight, I got to add, and I noticed that, the buzz about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford has arisen. But that buzz was brewed up because of Floyd Mayweather, in regards to Terrence Spence calling out Keith Thurman and Keith Thurman not wanting to take that fight right now, and he doesn't want to take it right now, whatever. So, but he states that Terrence Crawford is barely a champion. Why? Because he has the WBO belt, and the WBO belt, isn't the most, prestigious belt in any weight class, but it is a belt no less. So it is considered a world belt that you pay sanctioning fees to, and really I think it's the person that defines the belt, who that person defends against. You know what I mean? What type of character that person got representing that belt. Not necessarily what the belt represents by itself. I think whoever has that belt, it's just like a kingdom. You know what I mean? How you treat your kingdom. How do you treat how is your kingdom presented? You know what I'm saying? And that's really what I decide and decipher what a belt represents, or the person that represents that belt. So saying all that to say this, what Keith Thurman said was wrong. He's trying to discredit Terrence Crawford, and I really don't know why. The only thing I can say about Keith Thurman, the reason for that would be he's trying to build a wedge in between him and Terrence Crawford. Because I have Terrence Crawford beating him too. I have Terrence Crawford beating Errol Spence. But the only difference between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is Errol Spence would give the most resistance. But I like what Terrence Crawford did say in an interview, and he was calm, cool, and collective, not drunk, mind you, not drunk. And neither was Keith Thurman in his interview. I haven't seen, Keith Thurman drunk in his interviews. But what Terrence Crawford did say was that, the fighters that you think that would give you the most problems don't. And then the fighters that think you would give you the least problems gives you the most problems. So, and I know what he was trying to say, and I could read between the lines with that. Everybody's looking at Errol Spence like, I think, or other people would think that Errol Spence would give him the most resistance in that weight division, and it could be someone like he could take out Errol Spence, he could take out Keith Thurman, and it might be somebody like Sean Porter or Danny Garcia, the guys that just fought, that gives him the most problems when he does fight them. I think he beats all of those guys, but he needs to fight those guys, though. And I got to add this, Keith Thurman stating that Terrence Crawford is barely a champion. Dude, you're barely a champion. Let's be honest. You haven't fought in a year and a half, over a year and a half now. You ain't fought since March of last year, okay? It's been over a year and a half, and yet as a matter of fact, it's exactly been a year and a half. It's a year and 6 months since you haven't been in the ring. You're supposed to make an announcement on a tune-up fight because I get it, you've been injured or whatever, but you ain't been injured all this time. You know what I mean? I just think he, is not as hungry as he is, but he still has the pride because, he wants to save face. So in order, the strategy is wait till everyone fights each other, then I'll fight the winner. You know what I mean? But regardless of all that, everyone's making so many excuses about Terrence Crawford. Oh, he's barely a champion. So if he's barely a champion, that's someone that I don't want to fight, or I don't have to fight since he's barely a champion. You see what I'm saying? The less credit you give a person is, means, hey, he's not worth fighting. His value's low since he's barely a champion. So I don't have to get in the ring with him at all because I'm the guy, I'm the WBA. But again, dude, you lost the WBC, you lost that belt because of inactivity. You keep dicking around, you might lose the WBA too, which you share another championship. The other champion is Manny Pacquiao. So, and really that's the legend. So he's still a belt holder. I would love to see Manny. I would love to see Manny fight him 2 years ago. I would like to see that fight last year. You know what I mean? Right after he fought Danny Garcia, get in there with Manny Pacquiao, the legend. Because Manny was still the man back then. I don't know what he has left because, see, from fight to fight, you don't know. You take a gamble. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really know how he will be from fight to fight. But as far as Keith Thurman, that's my hypothesis on it. The reason he's saying that is because he does not want any of Terrence Crawford. He's barely a champion. Since he's barely a champion, there would be no reason for me, being a legitimate champion, to fight him. And once unified champion, I would never have to fight a guy the likes of Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford, the only person he's beat in the welterweight division was the champion Jeff Horn, which everyone figures Jeff Horn was beat by Manny Pacquiao anyway. So I see what the argument is, but it makes no sense because no one has fought Jeff Horn and no one has fought Terrence Crawford. The only person that fought Horn was Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. Okay, all the guys on the Al Haymon side have not touched these guys, but then they want to discredit those guys so much. Not necessarily Manny Pacquiao, the legend, but Jeff Horn and Terrence Crawford I was referring to. These guys don't want to see, these particular fighters in the ring, and they don't give them credit, but they never fought them. I don't understand why guys do that, and I don't understand it, and it's really, they should be ashamed of themselves. Keith Thurman, I know the strategy. It's slick, sweet tongue technique, a slick way of saying I don't have to fight him, because he's barely a champion. So, he holds no weight, no water, no legitimacy to ever get in the ring with him at this point of time. Okay? Just like Spence said the same thing. Well, you get a belt first, I'll come after you. Just like he told Kell Brook. Remember he told Kell Brook at 154? Remember what he said? You get a belt, I'll come after you. You know what I'm saying? He said the same thing about Terrence Crawford. Well, he has to handle Horn first. Since he stopped Horn in the 9th round, Manny Pacquiao couldn't do that in 12. I know styles make fights, but come on. Terrence Crawford did what he needed to do. He did more than what he needed to do. If he did what he needed to do, he would have just beat him in dynamic fashion and got a unanimous decision. They stopped that fight, so he stopped Horn. Nobody ever done that. You know what I'm saying? And there's no guarantee that someone else would do a better job with Horn because they haven't been in the ring with him, guys. That's my whole thing about it. Okay, so Keith Thurman, I have to disagree with you on that, brother. You're a charismatic guy. I don't have really anything against you. I think you got less hungry since you got that belt from Danny Garcia and you beat Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, and that's why your name is once relevant because you have beat these guys. But you know what I mean. And having a rematch with these guys, should really, to you being the prestigious once unified champion, why would you even want to fight them now? I can understand someone like Spence because Spence hasn't fought anyone. But Keith Thurman should want to fight someone he never fought before. You know what I mean? Keep raising that ladder because it shouldn't be a thing about belts if you're talking about legacy, because legacy defines yourself. Belts only define a weight class. You know what I'm saying? So, I look at it like that. I think that Keith Thurman should fight Terrence Crawford, the champion Terrence Crawford, and Manny Pacquiao, the legend. They've talked before, and I think he would go for that fight. I've said that before. And I think, he should fight Jeff Horn. Why not? But, of course, they don't want to put a fight up against Jeff Horn because, Jeff Horn in everyone's eyes, or a lot of those eyes, has no legitimacy to the throne or to the championship. So, but it wouldn't surprise me rather if Jeff Horn did fight one of those guys and beat one of those guys. Now that would be some funny shit. I just got to be real with it. You know what I mean? But anyway, Keith Thurman, stop tripping, get back in the ring, fight someone worth a damn. Get over yourself. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this video. Please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.